For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson. Last week, we had the pleasure of interviewing Luenell to discuss everything she's been up to since the last time she paid a visit to Comedy Hype. During the interview, the comedian would express her disappointment that no women have been chosen to perform on 50 Cent's comedy show that took place in Louisiana. 50 would catch wind of Luenell's comments and would repost a portion of the interview on his own Instagram with the caption, "Proof you can't make everybody happy. I love Luenell's work, that's why I put her in Ghost. We saw her Big A was already booked, so we didn't reach out. You think I didn't want Monique, Samora, or Amy Schumer? They on fire." Now that post has since been deleted by 50, so hopefully the two have settled their differences behind the scenes. Today we have our Comedy Hype analysts, Lav Love and Steve Brown, on the show to talk about Luenell advocating for more women representation at 50 Cent's show. But before we get started, I must mention the upcoming Greenfest Festival thrown by the HBCU Green Fund. Greenfest will have music, food, spoken word, comedy, and activities for all ages on Saturday, September the 7th at Truly Living Well Farm in Atlanta. For more information, please visit trulylivingwell.com. Now let's take a look at this clip.
I want to say that the game is still so misogynistic because I just heard about this comedy festival that my dear friend 50 is having, like right now. And I haven't seen the paperwork. I don't know. But from what I have heard, there's not a... people I know were on planes flying to where it's taking place. And there were several comedians on the plane, but not one female comic. Not one. Now, this may be mistaken. This is the information I've gotten. And I love 50. I did Power book Ghost Book 2. I know he's a comedy fan, but there are men and women in the audiences at these shows. So I think that fair representation only makes sense. Now, other people might argue that there's no females really generating heat right now. I know that I am, because of the sellout crowds that I get. However, I was not asked to participate, number one, and I'm booked and busy anyway. I couldn't do it, just like these dates I have been on the books. I'm in Philly. I can't be in two places at the same time, so I'm not swollen. When I speak for women, I'm not speaking for me. I'm talking about female comics, period. You know, my sisters in the game, whether you think they suck or whether they don't. I'm speaking for them.
Yeah, I was unplugged, so I don't care what nobody has said, written, posted, or nothing about me. Baby, I'm busy. I gotta come back. I gotta work tonight. Tomorrow, I gotta audition. Wednesday, I'm coming to LA. Thursday and Friday, I'm filming the second season of the DC Young Fly hosted Hollywood Squares. And so I'm busy. I ain't got time to sit around, be reading commenting back to people I don't know. I'm so over that. This helped me be over shit like that.
Now, the recent video from Luenell's Instagram where she went live, that seems to be her response to 50 Cent. So just thoughts there. Lav, I'll start with you. You know, after seeing just everything in order, what's your reaction to it all?
Okay, so I'm going to take this from a perspective of she's not advocating for herself, she's just advocating for female comedians, because that's what she said. Why does a female comic have a right to be on the show? The show, first of all, the lineup didn't seem like it was thought out, because a lot of it don't mesh. It's comics that don't go with other comics. It's internet comics. It's all over the place. Yeah. So I don't necessarily think a female comic had to be on this show, because this show, it really ain't have no direction. And what would be the point of that? I mean, just to say you got a woman on the show? So we doing DEI entertainment now? You know what I'm saying? She said representation. So what an Asian comic? What a Latino comic on the show? What a gay comic on the show? See what I'm saying? So once you start to get into that, when you talk about entertainment, I think you get away from what the entertainment was going to be. I put on a comedy show. I just want funny comics. I don't care if they women. I don't care if they men. I don't care if they young, old. I just want funny comedians. So I don't necessarily think you have to have a woman on the show per se.
Yeah. I think for Luenell, I think she answered it saying that, you know, there are men and women in the audience. So it's just based on the audience. You want that audience and representation to be represented on stage.
But there are Latinos in the audience. You got gay people in the audience. You got all of that still there. Yeah,
and I think it's easier for you to say, and obviously I'm not a comic, so respect to comedians because that's just not my field, but for women, regardless of your entertainment in general, it's been a fight for us to be put at the top.
Right.
So men don't have to worry about having that conversation because people are going to automatically reach out to the men. But women, and from what I've heard from the comedians that I have interviewed, again, I am not a comedian, but it is difficult for them to get booked. As like it's easier for a male to get booked before a female because they say nobody's checking for females. But let me get Steve thoughts.
So
Steve,
y'all saying all that, and I respect it, but y'all are missing the point that he called her big ass. He called her big ass.
He did.
So that means that they have a relationship, a really good relationship. Because I took it as a friendly gesture, and they probably talk shit to each other all the time. So I don't think it's a beef. I just think that Luenell does have a point that there were. I didn't know that there were any females on the show, but you know, I think she's just looking out for the sisters in comedy, and there's nothing wrong with it. Personally, I put females on my shows, you know what I'm saying? And it's not because it's a quota that I must meet. If I like you, I put you on the show.
Yeah.
And that's as simple as that. And again, going back to what Lav said, there were a lot of different mixing and matching comics that just, to me, didn't fit the show. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, you know, if we're going to speak up, I understand females not being on the show. Hell, I should have been on the show if you want to keep it real. I think I'm funny enough to be on the show. So, yeah, let's do that. Because sometimes, well, not because we're in an era now where it's not about funny anymore. It's about notoriety. So if you're going to put comics on the show and really go there, put some really funny comics on the show. Not taking away from the comics on the show, but there are a lot of very, very, very extremely funny comics out here that are not getting the notoriety or the push that they really need.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point, Lav. Let me ask, what do you think about that state, right, where funny just it doesn't seem to matter
Exactly.
anymore?
So if funny doesn't matter, then why does it matter if a woman's on the show or not? You know what I'm saying? If it's not required, funny isn't required to be on the show, and funny is not required to be represented on the show, then why is a woman, or anybody for that matter, woman, Latino, required to be on the show? Because when we say funny is not, because you have some people that are on the show who are not stand-up comedians per se, they're influencers, internet cats, the whole nine, and they were on the show. And it ain't my show, so I can't say who was on it, whatever.
Let me ask you this, Lav. Let me ask you this. Would you being a headliner, would you put a female on your show?
I don't get into that, but that's me, period. I'm one of these people just across the board. Female, men, gay, I don't care. I need you to be able to do the job.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. Do you fit the show? Do you flow? Can you work well with everybody else? How does your comedy fit? See, all of those things I think about. It's guys who I think they shouldn't be on shows together because they're comedy conflicts.
Right.
So for me, so if a female,
it's a matter of preference.
Well, for me, I think it's bigger than preference because I can put you on the show and I can not find you funny, and whether you're funny to me is not irrelevant. I want somebody on the show who makes for a good show. So if I have to book 3 comedians, how do these 3 comics go together to make the show crescendo? Because shows should crescendo with your headline.
So that's why you've been kicking me off your show.
So, but let me ask this, Lav. But do you understand that there are people that don't think like, they're not thinking like, oh, funny is what matters. Like, you have to still understand, like, not everybody thinks like Lav. So some people are just like, you know, misogynistic, and like those things do exist, even though you may not look at it that way, because somebody's going to hear your comments and be like, oh, well, he sounds like he's part of the problem.
Well, okay, so this is the thing. I get that everybody doesn't think that way. 100% get that everybody doesn't think that way. But in relation, keeping it right here in pocket with a comedy show that we talking about, again, funny isn't important.
Yeah.
A comedy club and promoters will book people who are funny on the internet, who've never done stand-up a day in their life, and put them on a major show.
Exactly.
over comics who are hilarious and been doing comedy for years. They will put those people on the show. And this person, everybody knows that this person who's getting ready to come and do the show is going to bomb. But the promoter don't care because that person has potential to sell tickets.
Right.
So the selling of the tickets and the popularity supersedes that person being funny.
Right.
Yeah.
So if that is not a priority, why is being a woman a priority to be on the show? Why is anything a priority? So we just booking shows to have shows. So if that's the case, then can't nobody be mad about not being on the show because I don't have to consider nothing but who sell tickets.
Well,
Yeah.
the first part of that, I'm with it. Now, as far as a woman being on the show, I can care less. I mean, like I said, I don't have a problem with it as long as she fit my show with me being the headliner. But to your point to add to your point of what you just said, promoters book who people want to see, and unfortunately, a lot of the people they want to see aren't real comics. They're just really good on the internet. Can't take anything from them, but they're just really good at what they do on the internet. And my problem is when they do well on the internet, and then next thing you know, they're saying, I'm a comedian, book me. Now, to me, it's hustling the business because you know you're not trained, you don't have any time, and you're going out here taking these shows, and you going to comedy clubs, you're selling them out because you're good at what you do on the internet, but you don't give them a show. And then to first-time comedy consumers, they're looking like, oh, so is this what comedy really about? I don't want to go see it. So it's pretty decent, but then again, it's bad for the industry, in my opinion.
Yeah. So. Now I'm gonna make this last comment. I think not being funny is the new struggle because of, like you said, the social medias and different people and how that has changed the industry as a whole. But just for females, I will say, as a female audience member, it is important for me to see a female on the lineup. It is important for me to see funny females. So that is important to me. Just the same way I'm going to hold somebody accountable. If I don't see a black person or someone apart, especially of somebody of 50 Cent's caliber. If you're putting together a comedy show, not only am I looking for a diverse group of comedians, but I am looking for the funny. Right. And it's unfortunate that we are at a time where you don't have the funny. And you even heard Luenell say somebody may say there aren't a lot of female comedians that have a buzz. What are your thoughts around that? And are there any females that you feel like that are funny?
I think there are several funny female comedians. I think it's all subjective. Everybody's right.
And
everybody's right. Yeah. If you think they're not funny, then they're not funny. If you think they're hilarious, then they're hilarious. So it's always subjective. Like Dominique. I think Dominique is hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Funny. So it's definitely funny female comics out there. I think that
Wanda Sykes.
Wanda Sykes is hilarious. They're definitely funny female comics. But I think that it is not, life ain't fair.
Right.
It just is what it is. Life ain't fair.
Male dominated.
And the industry is, but it ain't just comedy. There's so many male dominated industries out here.
Yeah.
But the reality is, and see, they say that, but in comedy, women can work, I think, a lot of times easier than dudes because promoters literally will put together a show and say, man, we got to add a woman to this.
Right.
No promoter has ever said, yo, man, we got so many dudes, we need one more dude on the show. So women get spots on big shows simply for the fact that they want a female. And that doesn't happen for us. You know what I'm saying? And they don't care whether she's funny or not. They just want a woman on the show.
But it's kind of like, white people and black people. White people have to be more conscious to make sure that they put a black person on the board.
So we won't complain.
Because they're normally already going to add white people. So same thing with men. Men, it's been a norm for, men to be on this lineup. It's been a norm for men to be on the forefront. So, a lot of them do have to make sure, hey, let me make sure. Because people are more conscious now. People are saying, why is there no diversity? There are funny females.
And I think it should have been a woman on the show with that many comedians.
Right.
I mean, I think it's like 10 comedians.
Especially some of them that I heard that was on the show. I'm like, it was I know some females that could have been better.
Yeah, it's like 10 comedians. So just out of 10 comedians, there was no woman that you could have put on the show.
Right.
To me, that was crazy.
Yeah.
But you know what the thing is, with me, and this is me personally, I'm going to put a female on the show if she's funny, not because she's a female.
Correct.
And
yes.
I look for the funny, and if I go and I check out an open mic and she's funny and she's pretty cool, I'll be like, you want to do some time, or I'll give him a guest spot. There's no problem. But I personally don't have.
You want to hit too?
Stop it.
What happened?
Yeah. So anyway, So I would put a female on the show.
I'm gonna start saying no kids watch this one. Steve on no kids can watch Steve.
Yeah, so I would put her on the show.
You gonna put her on what?
On the show because she's funny.
I thought you had said something else. Man.
That's it. Nothing.
I thought you said you
that's all I had to
You
say.
know what? And
I thought he was gonna put on.
Now you mentioned 50 Cent.
I don't like him.
Steve, it's you. Because last time you weren't even on the show and we read one of your comments and you be showing out. But hear me out. Let's move on. So 50 Cent has since taken it down. One of the things that you mentioned where, he talked about it, you mentioned there seemed to be some type of friendly banter. Do you feel like he took it too far at all, or do you just kind of feel like it's like...
No, it's 50.
Yeah.
And you expect that out of 50. And again, Luenell said, she, my good friend.
Yep.
And I think that's just the way they talk to each other. And before the public takes it like, oh man, they beefing, they this and this and that. It's probably just a little friendly banter, and that's just what it is. But he did call you big ass, Luenell. You need to get back at his ass.
Fairness,
and Luenell, my girl.
All
go back at his ass.
In all fairness, Luenell is my girl too. Luenell has a fat ass. You know what I'm saying? In all fairness, she got it. She's sitting on some 24s back there.
Luenell fine.
She.
So what do you think? Do you think 50 took it too far? Or do you think it's just like a friendly banter?
Shoot, talking about 50 Cent, that actually was light. That actually wasn't that bad compared to some of the stuff 50 has said and done. Ask Diddy how we feel about stuff that 50 posts. He go hard in the paint. So 50 can go hard in the paint. So this wasn't hard in the paint for a 50 Cent post. This wasn't that bad.
Luenell hit his ass back.
No, with comments, right? Not physically. Because we know how you do.
With your fat ass.
I can't. Well, as always, I appreciate you both for chiming in on this topic.
Can I say something?
I don't know, Steve. I don't know.
I just wanted to go on record and say, Lab's grandma ass fatter than Luenell's.
Oh my gosh. I need to stop giving
what
you
I tell you, and you think he won't hit the female on the show?
Where's the love and respect?
You know what I'm saying? But he looking at my grandmama's ass. So go ahead.
Steve, from now on, no, you can't have no more closing comments at all. I'm taking them away from you. No more airtime for him. As always, I appreciate you both for chiming in on this topic. Steve, I'm gonna give you a moment to calm down and just get it together. Cool. Lab, what do you have coming up?
This weekend this Wednesday I'll be at BQE here in Atlanta, and then I'm at an event venue. It's an event in Birmingham on Saturday, and that's it. And also Smart Ass University gear, all this right here: t-shirts, mugs, cups, condoms, toupees, lace fronts. We got everything right there. Comedian Lab Love, LAVLUV. Follow.
I just feel like you add to this list every week, and I'm just like, man, this man.
We're always breaking new products.
Lace front.
Feminine napkins coming next summer. Come on, let's go.
Steve, I don't even know. Steve, what do you have coming up?
This weekend I'll be at Lab's grandmama fish fry and shindig. And DMV, I'm coming that way. I'll be in Maryland, and of course I'll be in Philly as well. This weekend, follow me on Instagram, Comic Steve Brown, one word, and of course on my fan page, Comedian Steve Brown fan page, and check out the podcast.
Correct.
Yeah, we talk like this podcast happening weekly on YouTube. Check it out. We might be coming live right here, so stay tuned.
Absolutely. Again, thank you both for chiming in on this topic, but you heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts about Luenell seemingly responding to 50 Cent? And remember, bring the entire family and stop by the Comedy Hype booth to say hello at the HBCU Green Funds Green Fest for music, comedy, spoken word, and food. Until next time, for Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Miss Ruby, holla at your boy.
Steve need to be put in a corner.
Miss Ruby, holla at your boy.
Miss Ruby.
Did y'all enjoy that? We got so much more for you at hypersclub.com. Our exclusive interviews and backstage content gives you the chance to feel a part of the club. Come on and join.